Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are going to continue the discussion on the concept of goodness, khair, bir, and the concept of shar, evil. Because, like I said, uh, the core ethics of Islam, justice, adl, um, after adl, we need to understand the concept of goodness and what is evil, what is good, what is bad in Islam. Because unless someone is aware of this concept, they won't be able to apply justice in Islam or apply justice in their life. Okay, so now uh, there is a so my notes which I have given already, okay, for all of you to read. Understanding Justice in Islam is a PDF file. It is a work in progress. I'm actually working on some other research where I'm trying to discover the answer to how punishment is not injustice in Islam. But this is just one part of it which you can read, and because it will help you with our slides on justice. All right. So now for today's class, I'm going to share our slide, and then we can start our discussion. Okay. So the concept of khair, bir, righteousness, and shar, vice. Okay, so there are two things which we will discuss under this topic. One, the concept itself, what is khair, what is ithm, what is shar. And the second one is amr bil maruf wa nahi anil munkar. Okay, so you can see normally people, they leave this discussion, this point number 2, they leave it for da'i, people who are in da'wah. But actually, as a Muslim, you will see after today's discussion that actually da'wah is work of everyone, every Muslim. If we want to save ourselves from shar, from evil, we need to carry on this duty of amr bil maruf wa nahi anil munkar. So it is not only the job of the tabligh people or the official da'i, people who are appointed as dawah workers or organizations. No, it is work of every individual, every Muslim, and you will see why we need to do this. All right, so let's start the discussion. So um, the concept of bir versus al-ithm. Okay, so bir is also equivalent to khair, virtue, righteousness, goodness, benevolence. All these are coming under the concept of al-bir. And the opposite is al-ithm, which is equivalent to ashar, vice, evil. All right. So the Prophet ﷺ said, this is in Mishkatul Masabih. Okay, so this is a hadith there. Virtue is what the soul is pleased with, and sin is what kindles doubt in yourself and indecision in your chest when you give your decision, when you make your decision. Now, Allah has given us a natural disposition, fitrah, and because of our iman, uh, whenever we are going to do a action, either that action is through our tongue, through our heart, or through our limbs, the soul is going to feel happy. It will be pleased. You will feel like you are so light and you will feel all the positive energy around you. All right. And on the opposite, when someone is doing or about to do a evil or a sin, there will be a type of sadness, a type of doubt, hesitation in the heart. All right. So that is the sign. Actually, the fitra is giving us a signal that that action which we are about to do is not a good action. It is something which is wrong, okay, or it is something which is going to harm someone else. All right. So so this is all right, the signal, the barakah of our iman. A virtue from an Islamic perspective can be defined as a belief. So our belief as well is a type of khair, believing in Allah, believing in Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, believing in Jannah, in Jahannam, in Akhirah, all right, in Azabul Qabr. All this is also part of bir. Then also actions, saying that is useful and beneficial to mankind and in compliance with the divine law. Virtues in Islam can be classified under the following categories, right? So we have virtues which are very clear cut. That means observing the obligations enjoined by Allah, and those acts recommended by Him to be performed. Of course, so this is very clear. And refraining from those acts and sayings that are prohibited by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, these two are quite clear. And Muslims somehow, alhamdulillah, to some extent, they do understand this, and according to their ilm and knowledge, they do practice, as they increase their ilm and knowledge about what is halal, what is haram, they practice this concept of bir and khair. But the third type is the big challenge is here. All acts which are helpful and beneficial to oneself, his family, relatives, human beings, animals, right, environment. Now, this is where a Muslim have to be really a thinking Muslim, a Muslim who contemplates, right, that try to evaluate the action which a Muslim is about to conduct, whether that action is going to harm him, right? For example, smoking is going to, of course, it might be enjoyable for some people, but in terms of harm, it does damage the health. So this cannot be a khair. It cannot be a bir. All right, this opposite, ithm. Right? So bir towards oneself, bir towards family in relatives, bir towards community members and humanity, bir towards other makhluk, other creatures, bir towards Allah, the creator of this universe. Of the vice, right? Same like the bir, the ithm is also it is in belief as well. Okay, when people are believing wrong things, believe in wrong things, they don't believe in Allah, they associate something else with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is a ithm, this is a evil, this is a shar in the belief. Actions and saying that is harmful to mankind and against the principles of divine law. Vices, sins can be classified under the following categories. Three categories, right? So number 1 and 2 is clear, but number 3 is the challenge, right? So number 1, neglecting obligations and duties without legal justification, right? What do we mean by legal justification? Uzr, which you normally hear from the ustads or from your imams. Udhr shar'i, legal justification. For example, someone is sick, cannot do wudu because the doctor has prescribed him, if he will touch water, his fever will increase. All right, so in that case, he doesn't have to do wudu. So this is legal justification. So, but if he doesn't have legal justification and then he neglects the obligations, for example, he doesn't pray on time, or doesn't give zakat on time. All right, what is the legal justification in not giving zakat? Is that if someone is really up to his nose, he is drowned in debt. So he is supposed to actually pay off his debt first, or if he, so in that case, his zakat will be postponed. He will have to pay and make arrangements for his debt payment first. All right, so that is legal justification. Now, number two, commission of prohibited acts and saying someone who is trying to do those actions which are prohibited. Wine, drinking alcohol is prohibited, and then one Muslim is trying to drink. Like what happens when people are traveling in the aeroplane. They think drinking alcohol is free in the aeroplane, so they drink a lot. All right, so I have my own personal experience. People are going for Hajj, but because some airlines are giving alcohol free, they are drinking a lot of alcohol, Muslims, and they get off at Jeddah drunk. All right, so these are the examples of where people are doing actions which are prohibited. So number one and two, in understanding what is vice, what is ithm, is clear. But look at number three, the category number three, abusing the rights of others, causing undue harm, physical or psychological, to them, any kind of harm which is not in retaliation to another harm, or which is necessary to remove evil, tyranny, or a greater harm. Right? So people don't care about this category where they end up harming, all right, abusing others psychologically, physically, all right, financially. All right, so this type, understanding this type of ithm and staying away is the big challenge. Okay, number four, taking the property of someone without his consent. All right, so kullu muslim ala muslimi haramun damuhu wa maluhu wa arduhu. All right, so Prophet ﷺ said the blood, property, mal, and honor of a Muslim is sacred, forbidden to on another Muslim. Right, so that means we cannot. Blood here means life, and mal, property of someone else, and honor. Right, so we cannot tarnish someone's honor. Right, we cannot harm someone's life. So that means if a Muslim who doesn't understand this, and for example, those people who are selling imitated goods in the market, and he knows the customer is a Muslim. Okay, so how this is going to harm? Okay, so that's why this is very important that we are well, coming back to this topic, that we should not use anyone's property without his consent. Mataba nafsihi, that means the consent, the permission have to be from the heart. And that is the reason why in my other classes I always tell the students that actually the Quranic ayah which says la ta'kulu amwalakum bainakum bil batil, do not consume each other's wealth in an unjust manner. Actually, in the tafsir of that ayah in Bukhari, the hadith is about only those things are permitted to use a property of a Muslim for which a Muslim has given sincere permission. Okay, so and this is the reason why where we have this concept of proposing and buying and selling. Right. So if you read Mustafa Azarka's work, you will see he explains what is consent. That even our action, our body language should be according to the permission, consent. So if I'm buying something for 10 ringgit from someone, and that person, the seller, is not happy about 10 ringgit, he actually wants to sell it to me for 15. No matter how good bargain I have done, but I need to see his body language. Is he happy? Is he giving permission from full heart that okay, he is letting it go for 10 ringgit? Right. So we also need to be concerned about this. Right. So itham shar towards oneself. All right. So we have to also understand this, that when we talk about evil, and when we talk about shar is also towards oneself, towards family in relatives, community members, humanity, other makhluk, creatures, and also towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now this is Surah Al-Qalam, verse 68, 8 to 15. I want all of you to go back and read the translation of this. Actually, the content of Surah Al-Qalam is second in revelation after Iqra bismi rabbikal ladhi khalaq, because that was the first revelation. The second revelation was in this, the types. So you will understand when you read the translation that the concept of good, the concept of shar, evil, all what a Muslim should not do, all are in this. So this is from verse 8 to 15. All right, so you can read. And then there is a hadith which you always hear about this. Actually, in this hadith, there's encouragement, a type of targheeb, that we should, Muslim as a mu'min, we should always try to increase our bir and decrease our ithm. Okay, so you can see here, a charity is due on every joint of a person. Allah has given us a healthy body, our joints, about what, 360 joints which we have in our body, and every day we should give a charity because of each joint in our body. All right, so administering of justice between two men. So then Prophet ﷺ is explaining what is charity. Right, so what is that goodness, what is that sadaqah, because we might not have that much of money to give every day. 360 ringgit every day is difficult, right? So then the Prophet is telling us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that when we administer justice between two men, two people, that is a type of charity, it's a sadaqah. Assisting a man to ride upon his beast is a sadaqah. In today's context, if you help an old man to climb up a bus or train, that is sadaqah for you, right? Helping him load his luggage upon it. Olden days, people putting luggage on the donkey, on the camel. Today, if we can help someone to put the luggage in the what do you call it, bonnet of a car, that is also a sadaqah. And a good word is a charity. Even saying thank you is a charity, is a sadaqah. Every step that you take towards prayer is a charity. All right, removing harmful things from the pathway, from the road, is charity. Okay, so you can see we are encouraged to perform, to do good. Okay, another hadith, never does a Muslim plant trees or cultivate land and birds or men or a beast eat out of them. but that is a charity on his behalf, you see. So even when a person who is having a rice farm, and of course he will harvest his rice, but before he harvests his rice, for 6 months, for 4 months, birds are eating from his farm, insects are eating from his farm. Sometimes people also take something from his farm. All right. So in Malaysia, normally in paddy field, before the what do you call, the rice comes out, the when it is in the water state, so they have a lot of fish in the rice farm, and people do fishing, right? So you can see all these become sadaqah on the behalf of the farmer. Okay. So you can see Islam is beautiful. It is very easy religion, that even there might be worldly gain in certain things, but still we can make it a source, a bir, a source of bir, and a source of goodness. Okay. So okay, uh, this is another interesting hadith. This is the opposite. First, that hadith was encouraging us to that we should perform a lot of bir, and the bir can be in many forms, where we can benefit animals, benefit any human beings. Here is opposite, is ithm, where Ibn Mas'ud is telling a story that they were with the Prophet ﷺ, and Prophet ﷺ went somewhere to ease himself, and the Sahabis who were left behind, they saw two young birds, and they captured the young ones. Then the mother of the bird became angry, and it was sad, and the bird came and began to spread its wing, like as usual the birds, they become angry. All right. So the Prophet ﷺ came, and he said, a prophet was not happy about this. All right. That who did this? فجاء النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فقال من فجع هذه بولديها, who harmed this bird because of taking away her two young ones. Ruddu waladaiha ilayha, return the two young ones to her. Okay, so you can see, so even here we should be refraining from actions which will harm even animals which doesn't have language, which cannot talk to us. This is also quite famous. Everyone hear about this, and they talk about this, that a woman was punished because of a cat. She caged the cat in her house until that cat died. And because of that, she will enter Jahannam. All right. Why? Because she could have either, if put it in the cage, she could have given food to the cat, or if she could have just let the cat go, and the cat could have eaten and search for its own food, but she did not allow this, and that cat died in the cage. All right. So you can see this is a type of harm which we are extending towards animals, towards makhluk of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, now this is a very interesting Quranic ayah. ليس البر أن تولوا وجوهكم قبل المشرق والمغرب ولكن البر من آمن بالله واليوم الآخر والملائكة والكتاب والنبيين. Alright, وآتى المال على حبه ذوي القربى. So now in this ayah, Surah Baqarah 177, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is explaining to us what is bir, what is that concept of bir. And sometimes people have their own understanding. So Allah starts with clarification of a misconception, right? That some people, the munafiqs, were more concerned about changing of the qibla when the hukum came to change the qibla from Baitul Maqdis towards Makkah. So they were complaining as if it is a sin or it is a wrong action. right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is clarifying this in this ayah, that you should not be concerned about this. This is not bir, that you are arguing that to where we should be facing to pray, Maghrib or Mashriq. But the real bir is this. Walakin al-birra first starts with Iman. Now, a long time ago, I presented for the in our Ibadah camp, in our IIUM, we have Ibadah camp for the lecturers, right? For the staff, both the teaching staff and the supporting staff who are administrative staff. So I looked into this ayah, and there was something interesting I found in this one of the Nazmud Durar of Burhanuddin Abul Hasan Ibrahim ibn Amr al-Baqai. Right? He died in 885 Hijri, and his book is Nazmud Durar. People who read Arabic can search for this. It's a Nazmul Quran type of tafsir. All right. So now he has a very interesting explanation about this ayah. That this ayah is that sometimes people, they become busy with the furu'i, secondary issues, and they neglect the primary issues, right? So in this case, if you see Iman, believing in Allah, and right after Iman, Allah is talking about wa'atal mala ala hubbihi dhawil qurba, helping those who are next to the kin out of love, giving them, helping them financially, right, through means, qurba, yatama, masakin, ibn sabil, sa'ilin, right, people who are the beggars, right? And then the Quran says aqama salah, and then praying, zakat, all right, fulfilling promise. When they make promise, they fulfill it. And then sabirina fil ba'sa, they are sabir, they are patient on difficulties and harm, dharra. Okay, and then Allah says, if they realize, they can make what you call these type of bir they practice, then ulaika alladhina sadaqu, they are the one who are true, wa ulaika humul muttaqun, and they are the one who are pious. Right? Now, what is the relationship of mal and then, all right, so the explanation is like this. You take these points, and then you go to your home and you read this ayah with the context of the points which I'm going to tell you. So you will enjoy reading this ayah, inshallah, and you will enjoy telling people that how this ayah is explaining the concept of bir, right? Okay. So this Burhanuddin Abul Hasan Ibrahim ibn Amr al-Baqai, he explains it like this, that you see that there is belief, amana billahi wal yawmil akhir wal malaikati wal kitabi wal nabiyyin. Up to here is iman. So this is one bir. Okay. Then after this, there are two types of ibadah in this ayah. Right? Two types of ibadah. One ibadah in relation to wealth. وَآتَ الْمَالَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ ذَوِي الْقُرْبَى وَالْيَتَامَى وَالْمَسَاكِينَ وَابْنِ السَّبِيلِ وَالسَّائِلِينَ وَفِي الرِّقَابِ. Up to here is ibadah in relation to wealth. mal. Aqama salah wa ata zakah onwards is second type of ibadah, all right, where ibadah is in relation to our body, all right. Now both of these types of ibadah is the witness, shahid, to the belief of the believer, all right. These two things are witness, shahid, dalil, indicating or supporting the iman of the believer. Okay, the iman and the deed is a type of covenant, right? When we say amantu billahi wa malaikatihi wa kutubihi wa rusulihi, this is a covenant, this is a promise we have made to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that, oh Allah, we are going to believe in you, oh Allah, we are going to believe in your book, in your prophet, in the akhirah which you are going to enact, all right. So we are making a covenant promise when we are become a mu'min, a believer, a Muslim. Okay, now what is the witness? What is the shahada for this iman, this covenant, right? So this al-Baqai, then he explains that a Muslim is supposed to fulfill, in fulfilling there will be, so when he is going to fulfill his promise in this iman, he is going to be challenged. He'll have two types of challenges. A mu'min, whenever he is trying to keep and remain on his iman and maintain his belief in Allah, he is going to be challenged in two ways. One, in terms of his wealth, another in terms of his body, right? So now as a mu'min, he is supposed to spend infaq on others. Is he is going to do it or not? Or he is stingy? He is more concerned about the bank balance and the big profit, but he doesn't want to let go his money. So this is his one challenge. Second challenge is when he is going to wake up for tahajjud, he is going to wake up to make wudu in the winter. Does he tolerate the cold weather? Or he says, okay, I'll go back to sleep. I'll put on my blanket. I don't want to wake up because today is very cold, so no need to pray Fajr. So this is the bodily challenge, right? So when he, a mu'min, a Muslim, tolerates these two challenges, then he is true sadaqu wa ulaika humul muttaqun. Right? So this is how al-Baqai explains. Of course, when you see al-Ba'sa and Dharra, there are two types of difficulty Muslim is going to face. All right. One is loss in wealth is Dharra, and difficulty in body is Hin al-Ba'as. All right. So all these are types of difficulty a Muslim is going to face. All right. So you can see now that's how bir is, right? So that's why bir is very important for a mu'min, because through bir he can actually express his iman. He can express his belief. All right. So I think I'll send you this note as well in a PDF. Let's continue with our slide. Okay. So I have explained this. This slide is on that Surah Al-Baqarah, Laysa al-Birra. So no need to explain. You can read it on your own. There are other ayahs, Surah Al-Baqarah, Laysa al-Birru bi an ta'tul buyuta min dhuhuriha walakin al-birra man ittaqa. All right, all this you can read. Lan tanalul birra hatta tunfiqu mimma tuhibbun wa ma tunfiqu min shay'in fa inna Allah bihi alim. Al Imran. All right, this is also again bir. Okay, now we are going to the another important point, which is the second point of our discussion today, which is amal bil maruf wa nahi anil munkar. Because when once we understand what is good, what is khair, and what is shar, then the question arises how to make it happen, right? How to realize it in our life. And this is the mechanism, the tool. Amal bil maruf wa nahi anil munkar, enjoining good and forbidding evil. All right. Without this, we won't be able to achieve bir in life. Okay, so you can see here Al Imran 110, kuntum khaira ummatin ukhrijat linnas ta'muruna bil ma'rufi wa tanhauna anil munkari wa tu'minuna billah. You are the best of the nations, raised up for the benefit of men. You enjoin what is right and forbid the wrong and believe in Allah. All right. So you can see this is the responsibility of this ummah. Okay, that means if we want to create a environment, a surrounding where people are, every second person is a source of goodness, we need to enjoin it. We need to amar bil maruf. All right, and you will see what do we mean by bil maruf. Amar means to invite, to encourage, to promote, to spread, to command, to enforce. Right? This is the meaning of Amar. Ma'ruf, acceptable. Bir, khair, virtue, goodness, benevolence. All these are coming under Ma'ruf. So Amar bir Ma'ruf. All right? Inviting people to do goodness, spreading and promoting virtues, enforcing goodness. All right. So it is equivalent to da'wah, it is equivalent to advice, nasiha. All right. Okay. Then an-nahi anil munkar, to discourage, to advise not to do something, to prevent, to prohibit. All right. And al-munkar, what do we mean by that? Disagreeable. All those actions which are disagreeable, evil, vice, ithm, all right, shar, all this is coming under al-munkar. So what does it mean to an-nahyu anil munkar? To discourage or advise not to do evil or not to do indecent activities, to prevent, right, to combat against evil. Okay. Okay. Now levels of amar bil maruf wa nahi anil munkar. There are three. You can see in the center there is one small human being there. All right. That is we, us, me and you. And then you can see we have relatives around us. We have family, society, all right? So all these are the levels. We start from ourselves, we'll go to our immediate family, and then we'll go to the relatives, and then we go to the society. And this is how it will become, after a while, it will go up to the nation, okay? Okay, means and ways of amal bil maruf wa nahi anil munkar. How do we achieve this? Right? So sometimes people think da'wah is only, especially organizations which are, alhamdulillah, to some extent, some organizations, some movements, they are very active in da'wah. They are very active in doing this amar bil maruf wa nahi anil munkar. But sometimes they are caught up with a misconception. What is that? What is that misconception? They start to believe that only their way of dawah is the only way to survive, the only way to salvation. Now that is a misconception, right? Amr bil Maruf wa Nahi Anil Munkar has many means and many ways, many methodologies. Okay, so we should allow others. If one organization is mastering one method, we should allow another individual, another organization to use another method of amar bil maruf wa anil munkar, not to stop everyone and force everyone to follow one method, right? So this is not right. Okay, the first one is role model. By being a model of Islamic morals and values, and this is one of the best ways or method of da'wah. People used to come and ask, Mother Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, where is your Quran? And she used to point to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that our Quran is moving, mashi. Our Quran is there walking. All right. Why? Because the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was the role model. Whatever was being taught in the Quran, it was in his practice. All right. So this is one of the means and ways of dawah, that we should be the role model. Verbal words, advice. So sometimes some scholars, they are khatib, they can speak. Allah has given them the skill to use words and to convince people towards goodness through their speech. This is very nice, alhamdulillah. Okay, that's why we call Khatib al-Baghdadi, because if you read the khutbah of Khatib al-Baghdadi, he was an amazing amazing speaker. He could speak like that, right? Writing. Some people can write. Some people have this technique, this skill of doing da'wah through writing. Newspaper, magazine, books, novels, cartoons, etc. Right? So that means a skillful writer can do amar bil maruf wa nahi anil munkar through books. Nowadays, a new generation, they are reading books, and they don't want to read academic books. They want to read books which have graphics, which have some pictures, some cartoons. So how do we use this genre of writing and convey the message of Islam, convey the teaching of Islam? We need people with that type of skills, right? Media, all programs that promote virtues and goodness and combat evil and indecency. You see, our media nowadays is also, in a way, they think Islamic media is just put Quran tilawa or get all these nasheed singers to sing, and that's all. No, media also is a very important platform to do this amar bil maruf wa nahi anil munkar. Right, so we have to be really creative. Muslim media, we need this platform as well. All right, so these are some of the means and ways of doing amal maruf wa nahi anil munkar. Okay, changing munkar. So we have here Sa'id an Abi Sa'id al-Khudri قال سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول من رأى منكم منكرا فليغيره بيده. All right, بيده فإن لم يستطع فبلسانه فإن لم يستطع فبقلبه وذلك أضعف الإيمان. This is in Sahih Muslim. All right, so this is Sa'id al-Khudri. He is saying, I heard the Messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying, he who amongst you sees something abominable should modify it with the help of his hand. So this is one level of changing munkar. That means, are we creative enough to change a negative into positive? Right? Can we do that or not? Right? So first is by hand here, it means whatever means of power we have. we can apply that. If we cannot do that, then we can use our words, right? We can use our speech. And if we don't have that, okay, then at least we should abhor it from our heart, all right, that uh, we should uh, believe in our heart that that action is not a good action. We are not part of it, all right? We are not agreeing with it, okay? So okay, whose duty is this amar bil maruf wa nahi anil munkar? Who is supposed to do this? All right, both individual and community. All right, so it is the job of both individual and community. Ya bunayya aqimis salah wa'mur bil ma'ruf wanha 'anil munkar wasbir 'ala ma asabak inna dhalika min azmil umur. O my son, establish regular prayer, enjoin what is just and forbid what is wrong, and bear with patience, constancy, uh, whatever betide thee, for this is firmness of purpose in the conduct of affairs. So this is Surah Al-Luqman. Luqman is advising his son, and you can see here he is teaching him Amar bil Maruf or Ani al Munkar as an individual. But then we have Al Imran, another ayah of the Quran, where the ayah is talking about the community duty, communal duty, that actually is not only individual. As a community, we are also supposed to do amal bil maruf wa nahi anil munkar. Wal takum minkum ummatun yad'una ilal khair wa ya'muruna bil ma'ruf wa yanhauna anil munkari wa ulaika humul muflihun. And there may spring from you a nation, a group, a community who invite to goodness and enjoin right conduct and forbid indecency. Such are the ones to attain felicity, mufli falah. All right. So you can see both individual and community, both are supposed to do amar bil maruf wa nahi anil munkar. Okay, and here again you can see Al Imran 110, kuntum khaira ummatin ukhrijat linnas ta'muruna bil ma'ruf wa tanhauna 'anil munkar wa tu'minuna billah. All right, you are the best of the nations. Why we are the best? Because we are raised up for the benefit of man. We are the one who is going to enjoin what is right and forbid the wrong and believe in Allah. And you can see Surah Tawbah there, verse 71 as well. Okay. All right. So you can read that, Surah Tawbah, verse 71. Okay. What is the significance of Amr bil Maruf wa Nahi Anil Munkar? Number one, a constant reminder for Muslims. Because when we are going to enjoin good and forbid evil, all right, individual level, community level, what will happen? There will be a type of constant reminder. So people will become aware, because the problem today is people fall into the mistakes, they fall into wrongdoings because they are not aware. So constant reminder will increase the level of awareness, right? So you can see here, Dhariyat, verse 55, وَذَكِّرْ فَإِنَّ الذِّكْرَ تَنْفَعُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ, and continue to remind, for surely the reminder benefits the believers. Okay, and then of course you can see there Surah Al-Asr, which we read a lot everywhere. Innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa amilu salihat wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. Okay, who believe and do good works and exhort one another to truth and exhort one another to endurance. Okay, so once we do this amr bil ma'ruf wa anil munkar, so we are actually in a way practicing on wal asri. Okay, that who is the one who is mu'min, who believe that people is innal insana lafi khusr. Most people are in loss except who? Those who are amanu wa amil salihat, and after that they are going one step ahead. They are also encouraging, also asking people, advising people to do good, all right, and asking them to make sabr on and endure, right? So then so that means through amr bil ma'ruf wa nahi anil munkar, we can save people from khasara, we can save people from loss. Okay, see here, second significance: to safeguard the society against corruption and evil, right? Because this is a way for social, moral, political change. Okay, so we are always talking about this. We are looking forward. We want to have a social change, a moral change, political change, but this can only happen if we are active in amr bil ma'ruf wa nahi anil munkar. When people become aware, when people know what is good, what is bad, all right, then that is a time we are going to have this healthy social life. We'll have a moral people around us. Our political system will be just. It will be concerned about justice. All right. Okay. And to protect ourselves and families. All right. This is also significance. We're talking about significance. All right. So now this is a very interesting metaphor, which is explained by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that and we hear this sometimes from our Tabligh movement. They talk about this a lot, but actually this is how is explained in the hadith. So there are the example of people abiding by Allah's order and restrictions in comparison to those who violate them is like the example of those people who draw lots for their seats in a boat. Some of them got seats in the upper part and others in the lower. Okay, you can see the diagram here, right? You can see this is a boat, and just imagine we allow people who are immoral, as an example, immoral people are sitting downstairs in this boat, right? And people with good morality, they are up. Now, if these people who are good sitting up there, if they allow the immoral people to make a hole in the ship, in the bottom, so, and these people don't stop them, the good people sitting up there, they don't stop this immoral people, what will happen? The whole nation, the whole community, the whole society will drown. It will fall into immorality. All right. So that is why it's very important the significance of amr bil ma'ruf wa nahi anil munkar. We cannot fall in the trap like how the Jews, when their scholars stopped amr bil ma'ruf wa nahi anil munkar. All right, they decided to only promote religion only within certain group of people and leave others. Now, if we Muslims do the same, then we are going to be in trouble. Okay, so that's why this example is very important for us to understand, uh, to avoid Allah's punishment. Right? If we don't do amar bil ma'ruf wa nahi anil munkar, then we are going. There is danger that when if immorality is spreading everywhere, then when the adhab will come on them, then people who are good will also suffer. All right. So Surah Anfal, you can see there, وَاتَّقُوا فِتْنَةً لَا تُصِيبَنَّ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا مِنْكُمْ خَاصَّةً وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّ اللَّهَ شَدِيدُ الْعِقَابِ. And guard yourselves against a punishment which cannot fall exclusively on those of you who are wrongdoers. And know what Allah is, that Allah is severe in punishment. You can see here, when the azab comes, then it will come on everyone, right? So that means we need to enjoin good, stop people from wrongdoings to save ourselves from punishment as well. Okay. You can see here the Prophet ﷺ is saying, by no means, I swear by Allah, you must enjoin what is good and prohibit what is evil, prevent the wrongdoer, bend him into conformity with what is right, and restrict him to what is right, or Allah will mingle your hearts together and curse you as he cursed them. All right. So you can see what happens when we are quiet, when we allow wrong actions around us, immoral behavior around us. What will happen? Slowly, our kids will be influenced by it. Family members will be influenced by it. And after a while, that is why that hadith is very important. The third level of iman, that we should at least hate from our heart that action, immoral action, is not good. We should, that's the ad'aful iman, the weakest level of iman is at least to do that, right? To hate the wrong action. Okay. Abu Bakr Siddiq radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu said, you people recite this verse, you who believe, care for yourselves. He who goes stray cannot harm you when you are rightly guided, and put it in its improper place. And then he said, I heard the Prophet saying, when people see a wrongdoer and do not prevent him, Allah will soon punish them. All right. So you can see this way it's a significance of Amr bil Maruf wa Nahi anil Munkar. All right. Okay. Salvation of mankind. Another reason, significance of this Amr bil Maruf wa Nahi anil Munkar. All right. You are the best of the nations, raised up for the benefit of mankind. You enjoin what is right and forbid the wrong, and believe in Allah. So you can see here, we are supposed to be leading the mankind, the humanity, towards salvation, right? And how to do that? By this tool, Amar bil Maruf wa Nahi anil Munkar. Okay, what should we, now the question arises, what should we do if people are not listening? Because if you want to do Amar bil Maruf wa Nahi anil Munkar, and people are not listening, right? وَإِذْ قَالَتْ أُمَّةٌ مِّنْهُمْ لِمَ تَعِذُونَ قَوْمَ اللَّهُ مُهْلِكُهُمْ أَوْ مُعَذِّبُهُمْ عَذَابًا شَدِيدًا قَالُوا مَعْذِرَةً إِلَى رَبِّكُمْ وَلَعَلَّكُمْ يَتَّقُونَ. A group of them said, why do you preach to a people whom Allah will destroy or visit with a terrible punishment? Because sometimes we are like this also. When people are already immoral, we say, leave them alone. We don't want to talk to them. All right. So in this ayah, Surah Al-A'raf, it is saying that to discharge our duty to our Lord, that even if they don't listen, but it doesn't mean we neglect our duty. Our duty is to remind them. Our duty is to do Amar Maruf wa Nahi Anil Munkar, even they are not listening. Right? So that we have done our duty, fulfill our obligation. Okay. Okay. Now, sometimes people have, I think Dr. Kabui and also Dr. Fatmir will touch this topic of freedom, because sometimes some people think this Amar bil Maruf wa Nahi Anil Munkar is against personal freedom. Right? So that means if people are thinking, if Muslims are thinking like that, that means we don't understand what is the Islamic concept of personal freedom. Right? Islam does allow constructive interference in personal affairs of others. Islam allows that, right? But it have to be constructive interference in personal affairs of other people, especially when the personal affairs of other people are violating the rights of Allah, number one, society, number two, individuals, number three, right? So because in that time, because you see, if people, most of the time, what people think is a personal freedom for them, it starts to harm others around you, around them. Then it's no longer a freedom. It is a poison, right? If we allow the drug addicts, we say it is their personal freedom. They want to enjoy the drug. They want to enjoy the weed. If we allow them that, we don't stop them, what will happen? Tomorrow they are going to come and rob our sister, our mother, our brother. They will rob, they will snatch theft because they are looking money to buy the drug. Right? So it will start harming society, it will start harming individuals. Right? So that's why personal affairs which is going to harm others, then as a Muslim, as a responsible Muslim, and under this context of Amr bil Maruf wa Nahi Anil Munkar, we should interfere. Okay, so it is no longer a personal freedom when you violate the rights of others, when you injure others' feelings, when commit indecency, munkar openly, when encourage people to do evil, then these are no longer a personal freedom. Okay. Okay, Surah An-Nur, it's already 6 o'clock. I think I only have 2 more slides to go. So, Sheikh Shahran, let me finish. 2 more slides. We are done with this concept of bir and khair today.
Okay, very important.
Yes?
Very important. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Surah An-Nur, verse number 19. Innal ladhina yuhibbuna an tashi'a al-fahishatu fil ladhina amanu lahum adhabun alim fid dunya wal akhirah wallahu ya'lamu wa antum la ta'lamun. Those who like to see scandals and indecency broadcast spread among the believers will have a grievous penalty in this life and in the hereafter. Allah knows and you do not know. You can see here it's very clear in the Surah An-Nur that a Muslim should not sit quietly, all right, when the fahisha, when immoral indecency is becoming widely outspread, and still we are busy with our business. Quietly we say, okay, we mind our own business, then is a danger that we are going to face as well. We are going to face the azab of that as well, right? Okay, how it should be practiced? Yeah, please do not take wrong message from my class here. I'm not talking about rigidity. Amar bil Maruf wa Nahi Anil Munkar is not rigidity. It is not extremism. Interference into personal affairs of others can be done in a constructive manner. Bil hikmah. Alright, so you can see here Surah An-Nahl 1-5. Alright, Ud'u ila sabili rabbik bil hikmah wal maw'idatil hasana wajadilhum billati hiya ahsan inna rabbaka huwa a'lamu biman dhalla an sabilihi wa huwa a'lamu bil muhtadin. Alright, in an impressive and convincing manner. That means we need to train ourselves how to motivate people, how to convince people. This is a skills, right? in a wise way, so that it may not make a person feel offended, lead to a, or it will lead to a greater evil, right? So we should be very careful with this. Invite to the way of Lord with wisdom and beautiful preaching, and argue with them in ways that are best and most gracious. For the Lord knows best you have strayed from his path, and who has strayed from his path and who received guidance. And the last slide today, to avoid words, deeds, inconsistency. All right, this is very important for people who are doing amar bil maruf wa nahi anil munkar. One of the factors which doesn't convince people is this. All right, what is it? Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu lima taquluna ma la taf'alun. Kabura maqtan indallahi an taqulu ma la taf'alun. O ye who believe, why say ye that which ye do not do? Right? Why you are telling other people to do a action which you yourself is not doing? All right? So this is one of the so that means this is words and deeds inconsistency. Our action is not consistent with our dawah. Right? So that's all for today, and with this we are done with the foundation of Islamic ethics. All right, so that means now all the classes will be about ethics of akhlaq of disagreement, akhlaq family related to family issues. All right, so now we are starting the ethics of specific specialization. All right, so for up to here was the foundation. All right, so that's all for the foundation. I will send this slide to Sheikh Shahran. He is going to share with you, and also I have sent in the chat a note, all right, for you. You read it and you enjoy. I'm also going to send my note on surah, that ayat al-bir, laysa al-birra an tuwallu wujuhakum. All right, so you can read that as well with the reference, so that if you want to go and explore those tafsirs, you can do it. All right, so that's all for today. Sheikh Shahran, now I give it to you.
Thank you so much, Prof. Ismail Doctor. Very comprehensive. I think we'll review back all your lectures before and get the gist, the point from it. Inshallah.
Inshallah.
So we'll see you next week, inshallah.
Inshallah.
And for the rest of brothers and sisters, see you tonight with Professor Anis Ahmad. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.